The Roxy was an old skating rink. So the dance floor was like a roller skating rink, massive. But we had all the celebrities. They had to shut down the street in New York City one night. There's so many people waiting to get in. There's a picture of Nicolas Cage, about 10 people back, and we couldn't get him through the crowd to get him inside.
Oh my God.
Donald Trump came by, David Lee Roth, and Mickey Rourke was huge.
Mickey Rourke. I mean, I hope my audience knows who Mickey Rourke is. He's a legend. He was handsome. How about Grubman?
David's great. I've known David since he's the manager at Tantra, I think. And he's really ambitious and he's done really well. And he's a good guy. I like him a lot.
I met him twice. Very humble, just like yourself. You kind of grew up in front of you.
He did, yeah.
Sandra was behind it. He was a bartender slash.
I think he's a manager there. Yeah, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
And now he owns a lot of properties in here.
He has killed it.
Killed it.
Yeah.
Hi, baby. Hop in the Lamborghini. I'm needy. On me only, I'm needy. Hi, baby. Hop in the Lamborghini.
Left for a minute, I did not sweat it. Look at the cash I spent it. There it goes.
Welcome to another episode of Stroke of Success podcast. I'm your host, KB. Today's guest is someone super special. I mean, I'm going back in time. Let me give you a quick story. I moved to Miami, Florida back in 1999 from Brooklyn, New York. And I had a good friend of mine named Alfie Justice. And he goes, hey, he was my boxing trainer. We used to train for boxing and bodybuilding. And he goes, listen, I'm going to take you to South Beach this weekend. I go, whoa, wait a minute. Like South Beach, bro. I drive by there. I can't get in. I'm underage. And the girls are so beautiful. The guys are handsome. I mean, I'm a broke little young kid from Brooklyn. He goes, don't worry about it. Go buy some clothes. Get ready. You want to go party. So lo and behold, we get there. And there was a club. I can't forget this. I'm going to give you guys a visual. The lines are around the block. Saturday evening, about 11:30, 12 o'clock, 12ish. I think it was Halloween night or Halloween weekend. And they had this S on top of the building. And the place was called Shadow Lounge. Mind you, I'm 17. I have a fake ID. A good speaker back then too, but Alfie knew the security people and people around him. And we pull up to it, and he goes, this is my buddy, and show my ID. And they looked at me once and twice, like, all right, let him in. And as soon as we get in there, I see Alfie get so excited. He goes, he saw this gentleman walking. He goes, Bobby. And everyone turned around. Oh, my God, that's Bobby. I'm 17. I turn around, and I'm like, who's this Bobby guy? Here comes this gentleman with this nice dress shirt, tucked in, dress pants, with beautiful women right around him, as always. And there was my first meeting with Bobby Brandt, the one and only, the King of Miami. Before Grubman, before Coachella, before all these gentlemen we hear about these days, Bobby Brandt was the man. Bobby, thank you for joining us.
Of course, KD. Pleasure.
Oh my God, this is surreal for me. Oh man, the stories I can tell you. By the way, I'm a married man now. I have kids, and so I know. And
You gotta be careful. I'm divorced, so I can go at
you're
it.
fine. You're a single man. Bobby, how's it going?
All's well. How about you?
Oh my God, Bobby. When you agreed to do this, Bobby, I jumped. I was at my uncle's house. We have a mutual friend, my uncle, Dean Mohammed Qureshi.
That's great, by the way. I love your uncle.
He's my mentor.
Yeah.
By the way, so I moved in with him at that time.
Right.
Come to your clubs. I'd be living with him. And he's like, my 17-year-old nephew's living with me. Where are you going to go? I'm like, Shadow Lounge. Full circle, right? Full circle. Guys, oh man, where do I start, man? Bobby, I remember that time. It was a different time, 1999, Miami, Florida, South Beach, Florida.
Yeah, absolutely. Whole different world.
Different world,
Yeah.
different politics, different
Everything about it.
When
It's a magic time.
magic time.
Most amazing time.
I
I think in the 90s and
I agree.
South Beach were unmatched.
So I wasn't born for Studio 54. I heard stories, right?
Right.
New York. That was a Studio 54 era for South Beach,
I would agree.
right?
We actually did a Disco Inferno at the Roxy in New York.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
was like a revisiting of Studio 54.
okay.
And we had like 7,000 people a night. And that's basically generated the first club, The Spot.
Oh my
That's how it
God.
all started. So we did a huge party in New York City.
That's
Which
amazing.
was Studio 54.
Wow.
Again, 15 years later.
That's insane.
But it's still, but Shadow was magic for sure.
Shadow was magic. When I get to Shadow, we're going to start from the beginning. Bobby, where are you born?
I was born in Miami.
Miami, Florida. You're a
Yes.
native.
I am Coconut Grove. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Third generation.
What did your parents do?
My father was an attorney. My mother didn't work.
Okay. Thank you.
My father was a criminal attorney for some Italian guys.
Okay.
My grandfather was the president of the Florida Bar. His partners were the sons of the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States. which is Hugo Black.
Oh, wow.
So there's a dynamic. They're both attorneys, but totally different spectrums.
Okay.
So totally different, different types of life, to say the least.
Your dad did pretty well.
My dad did well. He left when I was young, so we grew up in a lower income neighborhood.
Okay.
At least
Your dad divorced?
Yeah, they divorced a long time ago. Yeah, yeah. My father's passed away since.
Okay. So how old were you when he left you?
Like 4 years old.
Got divorced when you were 4.
Yeah.
And just you and your mom?
3 sisters.
Wow.
Yeah, so 4 of us and about 9 St. Bernards.
You're here in Miami.
Yeah, people thought I was a wolf boy going to school. I had so much dog hair over me. I was like dog hair and slobber, so it stuck.
3 sisters.
Yeah, 3 sisters. My mom.
Okay, so your dad left. Did lifestyle change quite a bit when he got?
Yeah, I mean, we would have to make money to, to feed ourselves kind of thing. But when I was 14, my mother was going to get married. So I actually moved out of the house when I was 14. And I moved in with a phenomenal family, the DiMarias. And they took me in. Mrs. DiMaria had like 4 acres in Pinecrest, and her husband had died. So I thought it'd be nice to have somebody there, and I needed a place to live. And they really were phenomenal and just a great family, Italian dinners every Sunday. Her son actually started the collection. He built that empire.
Wait a minute.
So
Slow down. Now you're dropping some gems. So
yeah.
for my audience that are not from South Florida, I'm sure even if you're out of South Florida, you know the collection is a major landmark leadership here on Biscayne Boulevard, correct?
Well, it's in Coral Gables.
Coral Gables. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm mixing up the other one. Okay,
yeah. But it's it's phenomenal. We had 17 car dealerships. Porsche, Ferrari, Jaguar.
This family owned. They owned
Yeah,
that.
he owned. Joe started everything, and I lived with him since I was 14 to like 23.
14 to 23.
Yeah, and then I introduced him to his wife.
Wow.
University of Miami.
Yeah.
That's where I went to school also.
After high school, into UM.
I did, yeah.
Okay. When do you think the entrepreneurial bug?
Well, I worked at the dealerships. We started with just Gables Honda and Orange Motors, which is Jaguar.
Okay.
And I worked there since I was 15 years old. Joe's the hardest working guy you'll ever meet in your life.
Wow.
I mean, but 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that's the only way you build something like that. So I got the first indication of how to do business. I can't say I didn't really like the car business. So I left when I was like 23, 24 years old. But all my friends and I were all models. So we'd run around Miami and just have fun.
Yeah.
Work very little.
Okay. They were models.
Yeah. I
Like
modeled.
looking.
Yeah. I modeled for Michelle Palmier for like 7 years. And lived in Barcelona, modeled in Barcelona. Did campaigns for Germany, England, France.
Did you make good money modeling?
I did, yeah. I did a lot of TV commercials. I mean, back then it was the 1980s. I get like $1,000 a day.
Sure.
When you modeled, so it was very lucrative.
Right.
Yeah, and you'd play volleyball and go to the castings to meet all the women.
Sure.
The other time. So
This is the 80s.
yes.
Okay, cool. High school. After high school, you did UM.
Yeah.
When you didn't do modeling after going to UM?
After UM and after I left the collection.
Okay.
After I left the collection.
What'd you get your undergrad in?
English literature.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Bobby Brandt, the King of Miami Clubs and Restaurant Hospitality, did English.
Yeah, I didn't realize people in Miami didn't speak English. So,
That's true. That is true, my friend.
however, it's still I was going to go into law school,
Okay.
but then I decided not to.
Yeah.
'Cause
Why not?
I was making so much money at the collection. I was making more than
Selling
attorneys.
cars.
I was a leasing manager at Porsche Ferrari. And back then it was a cocaine Cowboys. So we couldn't keep enough cars in stock. I mean, they would come in bags of money all day long. You didn't have to claim with the IRS. You didn't have to know their real name. They didn't have to have a driver's license. They just come in with bags of cash.
Boom. Drop it.
Yeah.
Here's the key.
Yeah. We actually had a dinner with Dr. Ferry Porsche in Germany.
Oh my
Because we're
God.
the #1 Porsche dealership in the country.
You guys went out there and had dinner with the guy.
We picked up a 930 in Stuttgart and rallied all the way to Switzerland and had dinner with Dr. Ferry Porsche.
My
Yeah,
goodness.
it's pretty interesting.
Oh my goodness.
There was other dealerships all around the country, but we were noted as the #1. Yeah, everybody met Dr.
He does
Ferry
that?
Porsche. Huh?
Was he one of the pioneers of Porsche?
Dr. Ferry, his father did, yeah.
His father
Yeah,
created
Ferry.
Porsche.
Yeah, Porsche. Along
Is
with
it Porsche?
Porsche. Porsche is a 2-syllable word.
Oh, wow. That's something I learned today. Wow, dude. That's after UM, sold cars, modeling. Tell me the modeling days. Well, first, we'll go back to cars. So you're naturally good at communication,
Correct.
salesmanship,
Yes.
entrepreneurship.
Almost too good at salesmanship. That's what disturbed me about car business. The nicer the people were, the more money you made off of them.
Interesting.
Like that dynamic was not comfortable with me. because I still remember people that I sold the car for way too much. They probably still have the car.
Overspeaker.
Yeah, it becomes an issue, So it just the principle of it bothered me.
bothers you.
Yeah, it did.
Bobby, did you see a lot of celebrities at that time, at the Porsche time? People come in to buy cars in Miami.
Of course, yeah, everybody.
Name a few if you remember.
I don't really recall. I mean, to us, the celebrities back then were the cocaine cowboys.
Okay, yeah.
They were the ones you paid attention to.
Cocaine was mainstream at that time.
Yeah, it built
Overall, it's a drug.
built Miami. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people you see that are successful now probably dabbled in it
Somewhere in
somewhere
their journey.
In their journey. It was just too available. I mean, there was a multi-billion-dollar business back then. When everything went in recession, Miami never did. Miami grew.
Really?
Absolutely. That's quite a time.
Okay. So it's the 80s right now. I'm born in 82. I'm living in Flagler.
You're in diapers now.
I was in diaper, Hialeah, Flagler. I was here. My dad and mom had me in Brooklyn. Then they moved to Florida right away. So I was here in diapers. 80s were happening. The cocaine cowboys. It was that one woman they're making a movie on her life right now.
Griselda?
Yes, the Godmother, they call her.
Her son bought cars from me, Uber. I knew Uber and Griselda. That was the kind of clientele that we had.
Talk to me about this guy. He just had a suit on?
No, very
Like
really small guy, very small in stature.
Under the radar?
Yeah, under the radar, but of course would buy a Ferrari cash and had the gold watches and gold Rolexes, and I think he lived up in Turnberry.
Okay, Aventura.
Yeah.
You put 2 and 2 together, you're like, okay, 2 plus equals 4.
Yeah.
Cash money, young person.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
It wasn't hard to figure out. No, probably not a good
Not
idea.
question.
But it was quite evident when you go to his parties.
Oh, you got invited?
Oh, yeah. That's how I met his mom, and his brother Ozzy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go back to that time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you had like Willie Falcone. Willie Falcone got arrested.
Okay.
And he said he would bring in 100 cigarette boats a week. And each boat was about $5 million. He say 90% of them would make it through. So when he got busted in like early 80s, he offered the government $2 billion in cash. There's no billionaires for a 17-year sentence, but they refused the money. But back then he had at least $2 billion in cash to offer to get a lighter sentence. So that's the kind of money that was running around. I mean, just insane, just beyond belief.
Wow. So you walk into the party, the first party. You remember the first party you went?
I do, yeah.
Condo, house, mansion?
Condo, like a large penthouse.
Okay, it's open door and you walk in and there are trays of
Yes, trays of party favors
being rotated.
everywhere, big piles everywhere. Yeah, pretty crazy. Right?
Alcohol being served.
Anything you wanted.
Anything you want.
Anything. It was
Beautiful woman.
Yeah, no money was expended. I mean, there was no limit.
No
to
limit.
What they did. It was as high as you can get as far as that kind of party.
No pun intended. How old were you when you walked into this party?
Well, I started again. I was 18 years old.
18.
So,
19.
but I would go to Turnberry. I'd go to all the clubs where all the drug dealers went because it was my business.
Sure.
That's what I sold them to. Like there was Faces in the Grove, Stringfellas, Cats, and you'd go into those bars or clubs. And they'd have piles of drugs on the table with guys sitting with machine guns next to their bosses. I mean, it was like the OK Corral we used to call it. I mean,
Literally, guys, when you're talking, there's a guy bodyguard here with a gun.
Yeah, with guns on them for sure. With guns and drugs and just champagne and cocaine, pretty much is the idea behind it. Just a crazy time.
Were you scared? Were you nervous?
No, I knew all of them. I wasn't scared. I never.
18.
Yeah, well, I never did anything with them except sold them cars, so they liked me.
You didn't party with them.
No.
You don't want to mix the two.
No. I wasn't much of a partier.
No, you weren't.
No. I dabbled a little bit later, but it wasn't having an addictive personality, so it wasn't a good thing to do.
Okay. Yeah.
Put it that way. It's smarter not to.
I have my stories too.
Yeah, just like with alcohol, the same kind of thing.
Sure.
It's just you have to be
Careful.
Yeah.
Mindful.
Moderation is the key.
Sure. Okay, so cocaine, Cowboys parties, young Bobby Brandt going to them, hanging around with them, doing business with them, selling cars to them for the record.
That's correct.
Nothing else.
No.
Of course, what they do is that their business. How was she, the godmother?
Very offstandish. She was intimidating. Because she had a very serious face all the time.
Interesting.
They said she killed like 300 people.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not the kind of person you want to talk to. Then you could get afraid. That's a good time to be scared.
Wow.
She didn't like you. She'd kill you for looking at her wrong. Apparently, so it was intimidating.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Wow. After this whole cars dealership thing, you did some modeling. What happened after that?
Well, we actually had a party at my house in Coconut Grove.
Okay.
And we invited all the models
Okay.
and it's hugely successful party. But like my house was trashed. You know, the rugs, the walls, the dog next door was pregnant. I mean, it was just crazy. Cleaned up for like 2 months, and everybody's like, "Well, when are you gonna have another party? When do you have another party?" And we're like, I can't. You know, I'm not gonna repaint my house again." So my friend Gary James started Avenue A,
Okay.
which is like you would have to know a password, and you'd have to know where the location was. And every Friday we moved it to a different location.
Wow.
And so that it became like an underground party, and it became hugely successful. And then we went from that. We started promoting Disco Inferno at the Cameo Theater, and the Cameo was still a theater floor. So everybody, and we'd get up to 3,500 people every Sunday night at the Cameo Theater. I mean, there's the line. Talk about line around
Yeah, I
the
mean,
block.
you're across
Yeah.
Shadow.
Yeah, across from
The
Shadow.
Crowbar.
Yeah, that was Crowbar after,
Yeah.
but when it was still a theater, it still had the slanted floor. So beginning of the night, everybody'd be up on top of the floor. By the end of the night, gravity would take over. Everybody shoved out into the corners.
When it became Crowbar, they make the floor even.
Yeah, they evened
They
everything
did.
out. Yeah, they evened everything out, and they put the second level there. That was Kenny and Cal, good friends of mine.
Oh wow. Okay, so it would go up like this.
Yeah,
When you
it's
walked in.
because it used to be a theater, so it had this stuff, the flooring like you'd sit to watch a theater.
Well, it's nice. The
Yeah,
stage
yeah.
over here, there's a balcony
Yeah.
over here.
Yeah, we didn't have. It was just they weren't even open except for Sunday night for us.
That's it.
But yeah, the space was available. We took the space and started doing it. And then we went to New York City and did Disco Inferno there. And Mickey Rourke was a friend of Gary's. So we talked about Gary had the spot space, but it was a restaurant with Lee Schrager, who does the Food and Wine Festival now. But it was like a restaurant that didn't succeed. So I said, well, we brainstormed together. Let's do a rock and roll bar, because everything back then was German photographers, Italian this. It was very European in South Beach, because all the photography industry. So I said, let's open a rock and roll bar, Harley Davidson's, we had Marilyn Monroe on the wall and Jimi Hendrix, and just thought of that concept. And Mickey's like, yeah, I'd love to be involved in it. So I came back to Miami, took care of Disco Inferno, still across the street, started building the spot. No money ever came in. So we put, I got doors from my friend Jimmy. I got tile from another guy. We were painting the place, and we opened it. And I remember having 2 CD players in the corner of the bar. I was just playing no mixer. So I had to get the other CD in quickly when I switched from song to song. And then one of my friends, Bobby Stark, who was our partner at Disco Inferno, said, well, let's try, as opposed to just rock and roll, let's mix it up. And so we played a little hip hop back then, rock and roll. And then we actually brought in George Acosta, who was a pretty famous DJ.
Let's stop right there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get to him.
Okay.
So wow, this is so much.
Yeah.
How old were you when the party happened in your house? You made a mess out of it, and boom, maybe you should do a party outside.
Better idea.
24,
I
23,
was actually a little like 27.
27 years old, still young,
Yeah.
right? And you started Miami Cameo
Yep.
on Sundays,
Yep.
and then you went to New York
Correct.
and you did the Disco Inferno.
Yep.
What club was that exactly?
The Roxy. The
Still-
Roxy was an old skating rink.
Yes.
So the dance floor was like a roller skating rink.
Sure.
It was massive.
Okay.
But we had all the celebrities over there. Everybody, the whole secret is we worked the door. So they call it the bridge and tunnel crowd.
Yes.
No offense.
I'm from
'cause I
Brooklyn,
know-
New York. I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
my father's from the Bronx.
Sure,
so
yeah,
I
no-
understand. So that's okay.
Please.
But either way, it kept it, at a high level.
Sure.
And they had to shut down the street in New York City one night. There's so many people waiting to get in. There's a picture of Nicolas Cage, about 10 people back, and we couldn't get him through the crowd to get him inside.
Oh my
And
God.
Donald Trump came by, David Lee Roth, all the ball players. We did a U.S. Open tennis party there with all the tennis players. So it was a very high end and, very, very lucrative.
Nicolas Cage,
Yeah, Nicolas Cage was there.
90s.
This is, 91.
Okay,
91,
so
I
he's
think.
not. Well, he's on the rise at that time.
Yeah. And Mickey Rourke was huge. back then,
That's the
too.
name doesn't come to you right now. Mickey Rourke. I mean, I hope my audience knows who Mickey Rourke is. He's a legend. He was handsome.
He was from Miami Beach, too.
So Miami Beach is down the road, right?
Well, now he's in L.A., I think.
He's in LA now. Miami Beach. Funny story. When he did The Wrestler, he was getting a taxi ride from my friend in New York. My friend stopped the car. He goes, call KB. My friend KB is a Hollywood guy. Gave the phone to him. Gave him the phone. I'm like, Mickey, I'm a big fan. Congratulations for the wrestler, his comeback movie.
Yeah.
I'm at Good Luck with the Iron Man 2 coming out. Very nice conversation. He goes, "Yep, I'm gonna send you a picture." Awesome guy. But this is Mickey Rourke, 80s and 90s, man. Early 90s. He was the man.
Yeah, he was a man for sure.
Good looking.
Nice guy too. Great person.
I heard very humble.
Yeah.
Boxing.
Yep.
Boxing guy, right?
Not the best boxer.
Not the best boxer. So you hung out with Mickey?
Oh yeah, he was at the club all the time. He was supposed to be a partner. Then he kind of wasn't a partner, and but his name just being associated with it beyond helped. I mean, international people come from Germany and try and get in, and it's like he brought that international audience for sure. Yeah, we knew the locals. He brought all the other tourists and all the other.
A lot of women around that guy. Good looking guy.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely attracted women.
Any other Nick Cage, Mark, Mickey Rourke, anyone other celebrities come to your mind?
Oh yeah, well I hung out with Charlie Sheen for a few days. Yeah, he hung out with me like 3 days, and then Johnny Depp would always come in. And of course, all the supermodels were always there, from Cindy Crawford to Nikki Taylor.
Naomi Campbell.
Yeah, Naomi Campbell.
Taylor from here, South Florida, right?
Yeah, yes, yeah. She's from Fort Lauderdale area, I think. Her father's a state trooper.
Yes.
Yeah. But we had all the Cameo was doing all the concerts across the street. We had like Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam, Michael Stipe from REM, Garth Brooks, Grace Jones, Prince.
This is in Florida, or this is over here in Miami?
It was in Miami at the Cameo, but they had all come to the spot because I was right across the street. So we had tons of celebrities. It's just too many to name, really.
So funny thing is, I just interviewed Todd Epola right before this. Amazing interview I did with him. I mentioned your name. He goes, by the way, he goes, ask him, Bobby, about the spot, because right behind Shadow Lounge, around the corner of Shadow Lounge.
Yeah.
So there's so many memories he had from there. Okay. Wow. So all the models, actors, Johnny Depp. How's Charlie Sheen to hang out with back then?
He's really funny. Really nice guy.
Charming.
Yeah.
That's what I hear.
Hysterical. Like
funny.
Really. Oh yeah, just naturally
Witty.
Funny. Yeah, very witty, very funny.
Wow. I'm sure the stories are...
Yeah, I won't go into elaboration.
We all know that story now.
You can just imagine.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, I wouldn't. I want to.
Yeah.
Nothing derogatory, which
Sure.
it wasn't at
No.
all. It was fun.
Good guy.
Yeah, good
That's what I
guy.
hear about him.
Likes to have fun.
Look at that.
Good man.
All right, so we opened the spot. We have Sunday night over there.
Yep.
What happened next?
I went to the Chili Pepper.
I heard.
Chili Pepper was down the street, and it was a restaurant with like a bar. And so I met with the partners there, and I said, I'll come in. I said, well, we're taking the kitchen out. I said, and we're going to make it into a club. And you have to have certain licensing for clubs. It's different from having food and not having food.
Sure.
But they're a little hesitant, but we finally convinced them of that. And Chili Pepper literally did 10 times the money. And then we opened a place next door because there was a lot of other clubs trying to open next to us, which brought undesirable people.
Wow.
Which kind of made the neighborhood more uneasy. So we bought the place next door and opened Brandt's Break, which is a pool hall. But we had like Bridget Hall, Kate Moss, everybody come and play pool, in tank top. So it became a very popular place. I actually had a line around the corner to get in the pool hall, but they attached in the back. So then after Brandt's Break, we did Atlanta Chili Pepper. We opened up for the Olympics. Had some good friends from Atlanta, friends of Jimmy Sadler. And so we opened Atlanta for the Olympics. And then we opened Fort Lauderdale, where Revolution Live is now. And we had, I'm not a favorite fan of Fort Lauderdale. It's just a different crowd from Miami.
Crowd.
Yeah, it's
Very
kind of,
different.
yeah, it's kind of the New Jersey of New York.
You're right, 100%.
Yes. So
100%.
with not offending New Jersey.
Sure. We
However,
love New Jersey, guys. But
yeah,
it's
we do
different.
too. I love them too.
Yeah.
So then they had David Bowie play there for 2 nights, and a lot of big bands. Keanu Reeves' band, Robert Palmer, Verve Pipe, Creed. I mean, really great shows. But when David Bowie came, I was like, I had enough of Fort Lauderdale, and that's when we came up with the Shadow Lounge. And the Shadow Lounge, because I lived in Barcelona, we thought electronic music. We're going to bring that. We brought George Acosta in, who was already well known.
Was he?
Yeah, because he did Planet Hollywood. It was the largest dance record at the time. Planet Hollywood, yeah, or Planet Soul. Come to my Planet Soul.
I think
Yeah,
that's
Planet
what it
Soul.
was. So, my
Excuse me,
Planet
yeah,
Soul.
My Planet Soul.
So as I walked in that night, guys, to Shadow Lounge with my friend Alfie Justice, rest in peace to Alfie, and I look up, and this short stature, stocky guy, goatee, and he's spinning and everyone is like in awe. And I'm like, who's this guy? LP? He goes, that's George Costa. And dude, he just took people from 0 to 100 in so many ways.
Yeah, it was different. We didn't want to play all the trance or techno or whatever you call it.
House, whatever. Yeah.
So we mixed it.
You did.
And so we only went to the trance sets to try and set it up, because we were dealing with the techno club in Germany, Frankfurt, Germany, with Dorian Gray, like Tauscher, all the big guys that were over in Europe.
Sure.
And so then we also brought Tiesto for our 2nd year anniversary, Paul Van Dyke, Barry Corsten. I mean, the biggest DJs you see at Ultra now,
They were there.
We're all there. And as a matter of fact, Alex, that started Ultra, worked for me. He was
really?
He started at the spot. So Alex, and because I also had a record store across the street called Groove Man Music.
Yes, I used to buy my CDs there all the time.
Yeah. When we also, that was mine. I partnered up with George. That was mine. And then we sold all the vinyl to all the DJs. During Winter Music Conference, every single big DJ in the world was in there trying to buy the vinyl
stuff. And
looking through. We had 6 turntables set up to listen to it. It's quite
bring
interesting.
me back in time. Bobby, did you own Shadow Lounge?
I did. I was a partner.
You were a partner.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Everything everywhere I've been, I've owned part
Your
of it.
piece of it.
Yeah. I mean, bigger pieces, smaller pieces, whatever. But I was always the front man. I was always the person that was always the host. And I had let people in the background do the technical stuff.
There was a movie that was made back in the 90s, classic action movie, and it was filmed at the Shadow Lounge.
Yeah.
And it was called
Bad Boys.
Bad Boys. And I remember the scene. And to this day, when that movie comes on, I tell my wife, hey, that's the club I used to go to. She's like, oh, really? She had no idea, right? But she's a little younger than me. But Shadow Lounge was a place where they filmed Bad Boy. Talk me about that. How did that all come together?
Well, we had the fish tank. We had a large fish tank.
Remember some
So you could look into the women's room.
Yes.
And most of the men knew they could look to the women. Most of the women didn't know they could look at the men. It was very awkward at sometimes. But that's what they liked about the Shadow Lounge. Sure. They enjoyed that, and they broke it for the movie.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they shot it out.
He turned around, he hit someone.
Yeah. So that was just. I mean, they did a lot of different locations. They did the Biltmore Hotel.
They did Biltmore Hotel. Yeah, I remember that.
Al Capone's.
They approached you.
Yeah, we did a lot of different productions. We did like movie premieres, like for Blade.
I remember that.
Yeah,
they won.
Yeah. From
Stephen Dorff, who's a big,
and Wesley Snipes.
Huge.
And we did like Russell Simmons and Andre Harrell's birthday party.
Right.
With Mariah Carey, Jennifer Lopez.
He passed away. Yeah.
And Mariah Carey was a guest singer, and we did the porno industry players ball.
Yeah, that happened too. I remember that. I heard about that.
But Ice-T is a commentator.
Really?
Pretty crazy.
Did you have any time with P. Diddy, Puffy?
I did. Yeah, he was there that night with Andre. He tried to buy my club at one point.
Shadow.
Yeah, he wanted to buy Shadow. He did. Oh. And he's actually involved, I think, in the group that bought the Chili Pepper in Atlanta.
Interesting.
Sold that, yeah. I mean, he it was a great club, and the best part, we had the strip joint across the street, Madonna's.
Yes, I remember that.
It didn't serve alcohol.
No.
So I had an office set up with alcohol just for some odd reason. Yeah. Just arbitrarily.
Right.
For no excuse at all.
Oh, man.
So my side door was very busy, and I had a buzzer on the side door just to let the girls in.
Oh, my God. Drink. Yeah, the Club Madonna's interesting, guys. Back then, the girls would go stand outside.
Yeah, sit in chairs and stuff.
In chairs, and to stop you. And did it do well?
It's still open.
Still open.
Yeah, so I must do well.
But yeah.
I mean, I think there's a lot of laundry machines in the back of it.
If you get the
drift. They're doing wash.
Yeah. That's good. That's a good way to put it. Puff Daddy, how was he as a personality back then?
Nice enough.
Yeah.
We actually, during the Super Bowl, we were supposed to do the Sunday night Super Bowl after party.
Okay.
With him. And he had like the parties before. That's when Atlanta came down and really destroyed South Beach. Like all the undesirables.
It was a Memorial Day of the day, right?
No, it wasn't Memorial Day. It was actually the Super Bowl.
Oh,
that year when Atlanta played down here.
Okay.
And so Atlanta brought a bad element.
Okay.
And quite a few people got killed nights before. They had 5 or 6 deaths.
No way.
The beginning of the weekend. So we, killing each other. It wasn't but still the element was bad. So I called him. I said, Sean, I'm not going to do your party. Like, what do you mean? I said, I'm not going to, put everybody at risk. Forget it. People are getting killed and shot. So it's canceled. So that's the last time we spoke.
Oh, wow. He didn't like to be rejected, I heard.
No.
I know
he wasn't very happy. And there was people out there, luckily the Shadow Lounge was an old synagogue. So it only had 2 little windows. So people out there throwing bottles at it, and we're inside, like, just, it's still terrifying, even though we didn't have the party.
That's right. I
Thank
remember
goodness that we
that. It was
didn't.
synagogue.
Yeah, yeah. It was an old synagogue.
That was insane.
People would walk by and curse me.
Wow.
I said, well, my landlord's Jewish, so you can't curse me.
You're right.
That's
You're
like-
right.
I'm like, he's the one that rented it out.
That's fun. That's so funny. Wow. Man, Bobby, I remember you used to come on the street and say hi to the police officers and shake their hand and be nice to them.
Yeah, we had to, at the spot, we had to block off half the street because there's so many people waiting in line and the street would get too crowded.
I remember that, man.
So we literally blocked off, we had to hire police officers. And the one that was off duty, the first one I went to high school with, Smitty. But I love the police officers there.
You always respected them.
They
You always
always,
give them
they
respect.
always took
We
great care
respected
of me.
you too.
Absolutely. And they're great people and they've got a tough job.
You have a tough job.
So I really admired them a lot. And they're still friends of mine.
Yes.
Whenever I see them, I would still, invite them to my birthday party. I had a couple come to my birthday party at the Deuce
Okay.
this year.
Okay.
We decided to do it in an old school place,
Okay.
but they were great. And actually, we had one night in front of the spot where a valet parker from across the street to Warsaw
Okay.
got in a '94 Corvette and didn't know how to hit the brake of the gas and ran over 9 people in front of my club. Like they're flying like Death Race 2000, then hit the police officer Oldie sitting on his car, crushed his legs between the car and the Corvette, and I actually went to the hospital to see Oldie, and fortunately he's walking around now, but he got pretty severe leg damage from that. But that was crazy. That was one of the things you can't anticipate, that just blows your mind. All of a sudden,
Insane.
this Corvette runs over a crowd of people, and not intentionally. The guy was terrified when he got out of the car, but it was still pretty crazy. Nobody passed away.
Thank God.
Quite a few people were pretty seriously injured.
How was the crime at that time in Miami? I was young. I don't remember. I was 17, 18, 19. But in my,
Crime is worse now.
sure.
But,
Is it?
But yeah, it is for sure. And before that, it was a lot worse because there's all the elderly.
Sure.
So there's a lot of people robbing the elderly. You had the Mariel boat lift, which emptied out, which caused the crime to go crazy over there. And when we first started the spot in Miami Beach, people didn't want to go to the beach because it was such a crime-ridden area. And that's when the cops really had the toughest jobs possible. And those are the police officers that worked with me that had to work with that really, horrific element that was, just robbing and, old people, and it's just really bad scene.
It's sad.
Yeah. And then all the production companies would come down and they started getting their vans ripped off and it just changed the whole dynamics of it.
I skipped a step. Miami Beach in the 80s, it was a different landscape. South Beach, especially. You want to describe how the scene was? Old people outside.
Old people sitting on their porches. Yeah. I mean, the biggest night there was bingo night, I
Bingo
think.
night.
it was literally old people sitting everywhere on all the famous Ocean
Restaurants,
Drive.
Ocean
It
Drive,
was like just chairs set up in the front.
outside, smoking cigars and
Old
whatever.
people, just sitting out there waiting to die, I think.
The rumor I've heard, and you can confirm this for me, that Mickey Rourke was a big pioneer of changing that. You were there. You tell me, who was that? I'm sure you were a big part of it, but who else was in addition to you?
Well, I mean, you had like the artsy people like Louis Canales was in there. You had the Warsaw, which is it was a really big gay scene in the beginning, and I think that really brought
A lot of
the flavor.
they did that drag thing there too.
Yeah, and they had the street parties. They had the street parties, and the Warsaw was a big part. You had Paul Montana that opened the Whiskey Lounge. Johnny Versace, of course, was
Let's get to that next.
always sitting at the News Cafe and very friendly, very great man.
You met him?
Really awesome
Had a
man.
conversation with him?
Not a detailed
Hi,
conversation.
hello, nice to meet you.
Yeah, pretty much as just a informal introduction, but quite a few times. I mean, he recognized me, and but
Huge respect
well, I didn't want to disrespect him. So many people approached him.
all the time.
I'm the guy that would stand back rather than do that.
I think that people see that like, wait a minute, I'm gonna say hi to him because he's not saying hi to me.
Yeah.
He's respecting me, and they probably see that, right?
Yeah, but he would say hello back to everybody.
would, huh?
Yeah, he was a gentleman.
How he died, I was here, I was visiting from New York that summer. I was right down the road. How was that for business when Mark Cunanan,
Cunanan, yeah. Andrew Cunanan, yeah.
Andrew Cunanan was
Well, it was bad, of course. It was
cities there all over the place.
It's just it was a tragic situation, and at first they thought it was a mob hit because it was a dead bird.
Sure.
And they did actually the first time they did forensics or on
Very
an
new,
autopsy on a
yeah.
bird, and it was a bullet fragment.
Wow.
So it eliminated that idea, and it was always a rumor, and it was tragic. There's nothing like that's ever good. It was really sad too, because he was an icon.
He was an icon. He put Miami partially on the map.
Without question.
I mean, like, a lot of all the elements came through, right? And then he was partially.
You bring again the modeling industry that
That's
really
right.
absolutely. You had Irene Marie, Ford, Michelle Pommier. Everybody's on the beach.
Yeah.
And they were in the old hotels, and just on the second floor of these old hotels, you can get a room for $39 a night on Ocean Drive back then.
I remember.
They were all the hotels were dilapidated and not rebuilt.
Yeah.
So it was a great place, and the lighting in Miami is most beautiful.
Yeah.
Just the skies are so clear, and so the modeling industry absolutely had
Took
the
advantage
biggest
of it.
effect.
They
It
jumped
had the
in.
biggest effect of making Miami popular. I mean, that brought everybody here.
A lot of fashion shows,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, swimsuit, week, and everything derived from that.
Did you spend time with Stallone at all?
Not really.
He
I
was
met him a
here
couple times. Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah.
How was he? The few times you met him?
I think he threatened to burn down my one of my establishments.
Really?
Yeah, one of my partners punched a friend of his or something. So they sent in like 20 guys, like looked like they played for the New York Giants. Said, "You touch our friend again, we're gonna burn your place down."
Oh, no way.
Oh, yeah, it was pretty interesting. Not saying
Madonna.
that he did it.
No.
Yeah.
We love Stallone.
Yeah, we do. He was nice. He wasn't unpleasant.
Sure.
I really never had a conversation.
Okay.
Madonna was always around.
I was around.
Yeah, because Ingrid Caceres, I grew up with Ingrid.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. Ingrid and I knew each other since we were young kids.
She comes from a family of entrepreneurs too, right?
Well, I think your father does all the glass in all these buildings.
Okay.
I'd say that's a pretty lucrative job
Yes.
for all the glass buildings around
It
you.
was huge back then.
Yeah. And she's a great girl.
He is? Really?
Yeah, she's been friends of mine for a long time. I saw her recently. She has a beautiful son.
Okay.
Yeah.
I follow her on social media.
Yeah.
On Instagram.
Yeah, Nico.
She was competition to you.
Not really. I mean, if more people come out to go to a location,
In the bar, but club
they
hop.
bar hop. Yeah, exactly. That's what the Chili Pepper. What I used to do is I used to do free birthday parties early, so that everybody, when anybody drove onto the beach, I was always packed, and so everybody would stop there first, and that's when people drink the most. I mean, between 3 and 5 in the morning, even though you're open, you're not really doing that much business.
People's hanging out.
Yes, they're hanging out.
Sure.
They got to drive home.
Yeah.
Then the pizza places get busy.
Yes.
Pucci's Pizza. Tommy would get
Imagine
busy
that.
next door. Yeah.
Tommy
So
Pucci, right?
yeah,
He's
Tommy's
still around.
Good. He's a
Landmark.
good friend of mine. I play golf with him all the time.
Really?
Yeah. he's a
Top
great
G,
guy.
man.
Yeah.
If you give me an interview with him one day, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
On the phone with him after we get up here.
That's amazing.
Yeah, Tommy's a good buddy.
Chris Pacello.
Yes.
Interesting gentleman. Good looking guy from Brooklyn. From down the road from I grew up with.
Yeah.
He was across the street with Liquid.
Yes. Well, Ingrid's was with Liquid also.
Partner.
Yeah.
Both partners.
Yeah. And there's quite a few other partners.
Okay.
I mean, they were just like,
These are main partners. I get the
Yeah.
face of the company.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people were, but yeah, he was. They used to do Fat Black Pussycat.
Yes.
With, Ernie and all those guys.
The bag, the
Sure.
brown bag.
Yeah.
Great concept.
Yeah. And they did. So Liquid was great. I think Shadow Lounge is more of a competition for Liquid.
Yes.
If you saw Chris Pacello's movie, they said we're going to go to Shadow Club and we're going to break all the bottles, and it didn't really happen.
TV movie.
Yeah.
Donnie Wahlberg was in the movie,
Yeah.
right? Mark Wahlberg brother. Yeah.
Yeah, but they had said we're going to Shadow Club, this competition. So I mean, at the spot we had, I think, at least 8 bomb threats on a Saturday night. We had a bomb threat during the Wesley Snipes and the Blade premiere. We had another bomb threat there. They put like antennas through my air conditioners. They would put wine glasses in my toilets. I mean, so there's a lot of shifty people out there that wanted to put me out, but they couldn't. I remember when they shut down my air conditioning, we gave everybody pitchers of water, and everybody's just pouring it all over each other. The windows were sweating. There was so much heat coming out of that place. That the
Didn't even
windows
care.
no, everybody had a blast. Probably one of the best nights we had, just because people just didn't want to go.
Bobby, I remember, man, thinking back, like I always look forward to seeing you and shake your hand. You were that person, like not many, like I never knew who ran Cobra. No one ever came up, but you were that person always smiling and going around. How much do you think you contribute that to your success, being humble and being in there?
That's a major reason.
Big part of it, right?
Yeah, big part. I mean, I've had people bring back their kids because they met at my clubs, and so you get.
That's awesome.
I mean, I've developed a lot of great relationships, and people are great. I'm very gregarious, and I really enjoyed
do
saying
you
hello.
remember that stuff?
Oh yeah, of course they do. I mean, to them it made them feel like you said, when Alfie comes in and introduces you to the owner, you feel good
I
about it.
was like, this is it.
Right. So, I mean, it's
like,
just something that means very little.
yeah.
I mean, it may mean a lot to other people, but it wasn't much effort on my behalf. I enjoyed meeting you. I still do. You know, so I'm glad that we met.
We met, and I'm telling you, man, like, and I became an entrepreneur, and I always talk about you. And I'll be honest with you, I'm opening a business right now in Orlando with my wife. We're opening up a med spa. And I was talking to her, and she's like, "Who's this Bobby guy?" And I'm telling your sister. I go, and I told her, I said, "Babe, when we're up and running, we need to make sure we know the clients. We know their birthdays. We should celebrate their birthday. We should go out, shake our hand, make them feel, because that's just part of like the competition. Not doing that, you should, for that the competition. You should do that naturally."
Yes, we did. And then as I said, with the birthday parties, that was also a way to help celebrate. And that's what we did. We had you fill out a VIP form.
Okay.
So you win a free open bar.
Okay.
If you fill this form out, and everybody that signed up got a free open bar.
That's awesome.
And you can bring up to 30, 40 people. But we gave away well liquor for an hour. Most people showed up an hour later anyway and missed the free bar. But that way we were always crowded. I'd get 3 or 4 parties a night and have 200 people when you drove by to go to the clubs. But it's just because I asked them for their birthday. And like, birthday wishes are always great. I think it makes a big difference. I think any successful place has the owner there.
Sure.
I mean, at least old times. Now you have 400 promoters and a lot of more corporations are involved. So it's not quite as intimate as it was before. But back then it made a huge difference. And I remember people, remember their names, remember their families, remember their brother, remember stuff. So, that really made a big difference.
Talk to me about Chris Pacello. How was the other individual?
I mean, I liked Chris. Yeah,
very different now.
Yeah. Now he owns gyms, and he opened another club. I mean, he was always a tough guy.
From Brooklyn.
They also tried to bust up the spot one night.
About to ask you that.
Yeah, him and this other guy that used to own Union Bar.
Okay.
They came in, Joey, and they came in and started a big fight. And it was on a Sunday night, so I only had a couple bouncers, but I had the really good bouncers.
Okay.
So we bounced them all out. But it was I don't know if it's intentional. I can't say that, but it was definitely an incident that, they broke chairs and knocked shit over, and it was pretty interesting.
You talk to him still?
Yeah. I mean, I don't really see him. I don't know him that well. He was never somebody I wanted to associate with.
Okay, got you.
And no offense to him at all.
To society.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. I just, again, my father represented a lot of, people of that same persuasion.
Sure. You're Italian.
No, I'm Hungarian,
Oh,
Irish.
You're Italian.
No. But I grew up with the Italian family. I grew up with the Di Marias. So
you part of that culture, really well.
Yeah, I knew the family, again, every Sunday dinner, and I really became Italian, I guess.
Italian. Was it any mob influence at the club owner?
In New York City, of course. Yeah.
Not in Miami.
Well, Miami, it's a little different. I mean, I would help anybody if they asked for suggestions.
Sure.
But I wouldn't work with anybody.
Sure.
But they asked me if they should buy this or do that or something like that. Consulting, correct. And for no pay.
Okay.
It's consulting. Just if they hadn't, they needed an opinion but they I don't really think they had much.
No.
Miami's always been a neutral ground.
Sure.
Because you have Colombians, you have, the Jewish mafia, you got the Italian mafia. It's kind of like a playground for everybody. Sure. Ever since when Cuba was open, it became kind of a neutral ground.
Sure.
But really has never been muscled in as far as I know. Now the Russians, of course, are up in
in the category.
Yeah, in that area. So that's I don't think it's not the mob anymore. They're more business people.
Business people.
Yeah.
You met Donald Trump back in the day.
Yeah, I did.
80s.
Yeah. A girl I used to date went out with him. I still brought him to disco.
Really?
And I've been to Mar-a-Lago a couple times with him too.
How was he as a person?
I like Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, he's intimidating because he's a really tall guy.
Yeah.
And he carries himself with a certain.
I'm a fan of his too. I've always been.
Yeah. He carries himself with a certain way. Yeah, certain way. Swagger.
Mm-hmm.
But that's confidence to me.
I agree with you.
And people, it's not narcissism to me.
No, I agree with you.
I think it's a natural thing for him. But he's, talking about working with somebody. If he is that successful in New York, I'm sure he knows work with some interesting people.
I'm sure.
All around the world. But, I mean, he's, again, he's not as polished as some people like, but ultimately, I believe, he's a diamond in the rough, if you will. Sure. I like his ideas. I like what he's done.
Opium Garden, amazing club.
Yeah.
Competition.
Yeah.
Down the road.
Yeah. I mean, Eric Milan and the Opium Group.
You know them?
Yeah, I know them well.
Okay.
They're good people. There's enough room for everybody.
That's what I'm learning.
Yeah, there's never really, I mean, if you open, a strip bar next to a strip bar, you might have it, but everybody has something different to offer. Opium Garden, the house music compared to, I would bring the big DJs. They did wind up stealing all my DJs.
You're right.
When Space opened.
Yes. Okay.
Louis Puig was a friend of mine for many years. Tried to hire all my employees and took all the big DJs, was able to pay them 3 times as much. And that's why after 5 years of the lease, we're like, Shadow Lounge, we're just going to shut it down.
I remember that.
But that's competition, but you can't do anything about it because they just took something and made it 3 times as large.
Yeah,
Ultra.
Yeah.
But the Opium group also fights for all those DJs, and they, David Grubman, they'll pay them on a yearly contract so they can't play anywhere else. So that became the dynamic that you have to deal with. But inevitably, things are going to do that. When you have something people see and they can, they have more money, they have more, influence, they're going to take it.
What year did you close Shadow Lounge?
Yeah.
Well, what year was that? It was
2003. I opened it in 97.
97,
2002, 2003, yeah.
Maybe.
Then I opened Flavor in Coconut Grove.
I love that.
Yeah.
I was there for the grand opening. I love Flavor.
Yeah, Flavor was great.
Well, old school rock and roll at the time,
yeah.
hip hop. I used to bring my friends from Coral Springs up north.
Right.
To bring it to your place. I love that place.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I think the whole door thing that we learned in New York City, when I implemented in South Beach, people were like, there's no way nobody in Miami is going to put up with a door.
Yeah.
But everybody did because they wanted to get in.
Sure. Sure.
Same thing of Flavor, like in Coconut Grove, everybody wears shorts and baseball hats. I wouldn't let shorts in.
Yeah.
Just to try and keep, again, if you make guys too comfortable, like groups of guys in, they're going to fight.
Sure.
Especially if they're in shorts and sneakers. And it's like, and everybody thinks they could beat up a bouncer, which is probably the dumbest idea you could ever come up with.
Yeah. Yeah.
These guys all MMA fighters, they all train.
They're trained.
All my guys would grapple, and just put you in a chokehold and put you down in a second, and they train for that every single day. So when you have a few drinks and you decide to challenge somebody like that, it's probably not prudent. So, and even though the door is a little bit more lax, but we still would do a door.
Sure.
And I didn't even charge a cover. It wasn't except for Shadow Lounge, of course.
Yeah.
Because I had the big DJs to pay for.
You have to.
But other places, it's a discretionary thing. Also, you can see how people react.
Sure.
When you say they can't come in. If they get aggressive, you made the right choice. If they're nice about it, you change your mind and let them in. So it's kind of like a thermometer, if you will. But it keeps peace inside because the inside balance and the inside energy is extremely important. That you really feel an energy when you walk into a good place.
You're talking about energy, man. I'm getting visuals and going Shadow Lounge.
Yeah.
The AC hits. You walk in a little hallway. You look right here. You see George there. Then you have to go upstairs at the balcony, which I was very blessed to be.
That was a VIP area.
And I got in there and
deservedly so.
Alfie Justice and Bobby, I love you to death. You got me in there, and I'm 17, 18 years old. Height of Miami, and I'm just in awe. And you turn it around, and I don't know if people are high or drunk, but they're so friendly and the beautiful.
I think it's called ecstasy back then.
I think so. Ecstasy.
The little redheads, I think they called them.
These
we got money back at Shadow Lounge because we didn't have a fight for 4 years.
Wow,
a lot of hugging.
And by the way, even if you bump into a guy that turn around, hey, don't worry, go ahead, man, do your thing. It was a mistake. Yeah. You've talked to someone's girlfriend like by mistake, like, hey man, she's with me. I got you, bro, no problem.
That's why we had 21 security guards because the city was very, very honest about people doing ecstasy. I'm like, well, they take one pill before they come in. There's nothing I can do.
Nothing.
I mean, what am I supposed to do? So if any drugs went around sale inside, we had 21 security guards.
Sure.
And they tried to shut every club down in Miami Beach.
Sure.
During and they said, and ironically, the only one they said did a good job was Chris Pacello, because I'm sure that he had a city connection. He's probably the one, not that saying he sent it out, but it's probably somehow. So, but they came in and they bought drugs, two pills in 6 months.
Wow.
And I was like, well, what am I supposed to do? I said, well, if you pay for the off-time police that investigated you, which is like $11,000, and you pay a fine, we'll let you off. I'm like, well, you could buy, 5 pounds of crack at the school right down the street.
Yeah.
I said, but you got 2 pills in 6 months with 50,000 people. I'm like, are you kidding me? And it was a city attorney running for office.
Okay.
And it was all just a political agenda. But again, things you have to face like that always come with the club business. When we had the River Lounge at the Epic Hotel, I opened that after Martini Bar in South Miami. And one day we came up and the whole hotel is wrapped around in yellow tape. And they had Legionnaire's disease. They said they found in the water, and 2 people had died on a cruise ship, but they both stayed at the Epic Hotel. So this is December, the height of when we're doing everything, all the Christmas parties. They had it blocked off for 3 weeks and just closed the whole place down. And then try and get somebody to come back when they say the water will kill you. So, but unbelievable things that always seem to occur at the weirdest moments, but that's part of life.
I have a coach I hired, my mindset coach. And we're talking about a conversation we had yesterday. He goes, listen, KB, think about this answer. Think about 3 emotions, feelings that you think a person should have to be the best version of themselves. Started thinking. I go, listen, number 1, be unfazed. Number 2, have abundance mindset.
Yep.
And number 3, abundance mindset. Cool, calm, and collected.
Yeah.
And those 3 describe you to the T.
Thank you.
You never thought I'm keep seeing the word competition. You never said the word competition yet. Your abundant mindset. I'm opening a med spa in the area, and the other spots already open, and I'm like, I turned my consultant, my wife, like, what do you guys think? Like, listen, there's enough out there. If you focus on abundance, you'll get more abundance.
Of course, yeah.
If you focus on the lack of and competition, like we know some people who go in your club and mess it up to get business. We saw that outcome too.
Yeah.
What happened with individuals.
Yep.
So, and you're cool, calm, collective, and you seem like you're unfazed. Shit kept on happening to you over and over and over again.
It's life.
It's life.
Yeah, you can't question what's going to happen or what will happen. You just have to go with it. I mean, what choices do you have? Really, it's really important to always strive forward. There's always something good that comes out of everything, no matter what. Everything has to go forward. You can't never go backwards. Learn from yesterday, live for today.
Learn from yesterday, live for today. Wow, I like that.
Yeah. It'd be the
Bobby Space, owned by Louis.
Yeah, Louis Puig. And the Opium Group bought it afterwards.
Okay.
I mean, later on, maybe 10 years after.
Yeah, Oscar G. All the big people.
Yeah, Oscar G. I mean, they would bring, again, they had 3 times the space. And even though it wasn't a nice place, the people.
It was a nice place.
People didn't care because they just, and that's kind of that kind of music scene.
Kind of a New Yorker thing they did. They brought kind of New York in that sense, right?
Yeah, the warehouses.
The warehouse.
Yeah, like Tunnel and Twilo and and Limelight, even though it was a church, it was still kind of eerie to walk through.
Yeah, space is still there.
I think so, yeah. It is still there, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And again, they would only open, but there's only like 11 24-hour liquor licenses.
That's right.
So 11 has one.
Yes.
11's one of the largest grossing clubs in the country.
Is it right now?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They do a huge
amount. In the USA, is one of the biggest ones.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. They just opened a restaurant upstairs.
Okay.
Alan Ross isn't part of it.
Okay.
Alan's a great guy too. Good friend. So I think it's called Giselle's or something.
Okay.
They opened on top of 11.
How about Grubman?
David's great. I've known David since he was the manager at Tantra, I think, and he's really ambitious and he's done really well, and he's a good guy. I like him a lot,
We had his restaurant last night, Poppy Steak, and I met him once, twice. Mm-hmm. Very humble, just like yourself.
He's just really good guy. I like David a lot. He's a sweetheart.
You kind of grew up in front of you.
He did, yeah.
Tantra was behind it. I'm a Tantra quite a bit. I love Tantra.
Yeah.
He was a bartender /
I think he's a manager there. Yeah, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
And now he owns a lot of properties in here in South Florida.
He has killed it. Yeah, but he's a smart guy. He knows. You know what? He knows the industry. He knows the insides
from the bottom
back up. When you know the backside of it, it's easier to create the profitability. Sure. A lot of people, like when we first started, I really didn't know the backside of it. I learned as I went along. So we're lucky that we did so much business. We didn't have to worry about it so much.
Sure.
But you could, he's very sharp.
And
he has good concepts and he has good partners, and with the Sofer family, Jeff Sofer, that's a good person.
He's the one who owns
Fontainebleau.
He gives a chance. Hey, open something here.
Yeah.
I think David pitched him. Hey, let me open something here. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, and it went well. Well, the Fontainebleau is amazing. They've done a great job with that also.
But it may not have gone well. I mean, we've seen stories go other way, right?
It was close not to. There was a
beginning. I heard
there was a point where he was almost bankrupt from it, but then he got through it because they were trying to open Las Vegas.
Yes,
and Las Vegas went down. So that's really, again, when you overexpand, we always say if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Sure.
Even when you take a club and try and expand the club, that's why when we did Chili Pepper, I put a pool hall next to it, Brandt's Break. I didn't want to make Chili Pepper bigger.
Sure.
Because it was a Chili Pepper, and that had the charm to it. You never know what you can do. And trying to open multiple places will also do that. You try and franchise things out.
They can do that.
Yeah, it's different people, different areas, unless, of course, it's a generic franchise.
Let me ask you a question. Where do you think nightclubs went? And now, but that scene has changed.
Yeah.
Levy's the only one there, maybe. 11's there. But it's becoming a restaurant thing now.
Yeah.
You got into restaurant business before restaurant thing was big.
Yeah,
You at
I've
the
had a
time-
few restaurants.
Yeah,
Well, the thing is, the cities are trying to shut everything down.
nightclubs.
And so the cities, they change the times, like in Coconut Grove, from 5 a.m. to 2 a.m. Miami Beach from 5 a.m. to 3 a.m. In certain districts, 2 a.m. in other districts. You know, because, I mean, even though the night industry pretty much put Miami on the map, Miami Beach, but all the commissioners and everybody living in all the buildings, now they're all influencing it to shut everything down. And they want restaurants. They want to make it, you know, family friendly, which, you know, you get your family members shot on Ocean Drive. So it's not quite working so well. But, you know, there's other things they did now where I was on the Florida Restaurant Lodging Association with your uncle.
Yes.
And so they did things on Ocean Drive to where you can't have those big black umbrellas, so that, because that's where all the crimes are going on, all the drug dealing.
Sure.
So now he has to come off the building. They have to be a certain color. So they're trying to do things to make it better, but they have a long way to go.
Long way to go.
And clubs are dangerous, you know. It's not worth owning one, you know. So they are doing bodegas and things and restaurants with dance in it, you
Sure.
know, kind of like a cabaret, which everything comes in cycles.
Yes, it does.
They'll come back again.
Come back.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
think like Nikki Beach had a whole thing. It's open. It's an open forum, and the people around it want to.
Yeah, they want to close it down. Well, now the Bouchon brothers, I think, just took it over.
They did.
Yeah, they got it from the Penrods.
Okay. Yeah, Penrod's family. They're huge.
And Steve Bouchon's a great guy too.
Is he?
Yeah, they're good people.
Um,
The brothers are great.
I could tell my wife talks about it, raves about it. Bagatelles, I think restaurants like lounge something. They got on the tables. They got reality shows coming to Miami. A lot of the people, right? Todd, our friend, mutual friend, is on one of them, right?
Yeah.
Just imagine, Bobby, if social media was around when Shadow Lounge was there.
Yes, they've been
It
crazy.
would be dangerous.
Yeah, it would be dangerous, but an amazing time.
Yeah.
You know what? People had fun. What
Had
can you
fun.
say? People had the times of their lives. They used to call it their temple because it was a temple,
It was a temple.
and they'd go there religiously.
I
We had
loved
people
it.
that were there every time we're open, and just couldn't get enough of it. So
Oh, dude, I loved
it
it.
was all positive energy, like you said. It wasn't.
Yes, positive energy.
Yeah, and that's what I'm
100%.
talking about. Walking in and feeling that
That's
energy.
it.
You could feel it, you know. And we used to have deaf people come in because we had all the Big Bertha subs, you know, and they'd stand in front of the base.
AC.
They'd feel it.
Yeah.
First time we turned on the sound system, it shook bottles off our shelves.
Insane, man.
I mean, Steve Nash did our sound from
Dude.
England. And the sound, it was a
Shadow Lounge.
really elaborate sound system.
Your sound system was the best.
Yeah.
I mean,
It was quite. We put a lot into the sound and the lighting. Lighting too. We had Allegra up there in lighting. She was great. She got into it. She was very, very savvy with the whole music industry too. You know, but she made a big difference also.
wow. Bobby, you stepped away
I
from
did. I have a autistic son.
Okay.
He's
Got it.
14. He's nonverbal,
right. Okay.
and so that's my full-time job.
You're taking care of him.
Yeah, I help my mom has dementia. She's 90 years old,
Wow. God
and
bless
then
him.
my aunt also has Alzheimer's, her sister. So I did taking care of family. You know, taking care of everybody else. Now it's time for my family, I guess.
Look at you.
So you have to do what you got to do, like I said. But my son's great. I love my son Gunnar. He's a great kid. You know, and hopefully we'll break it through,
Yeah.
and we're just gonna keep trying. Look forward to tomorrow.
15.
He'll be 15 in December.
One day.
Yeah, I'd love you to meet him.
Yeah.
It'd be a pleasure.
I remember when he was born, and I think I met his mom too briefly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a wonderful lady.
Okay.
Yeah, she lives here in Brickell.
Okay.
She's good. Yeah.
Before I end it, I want to talk about our mutual friend Alfie Justice. Alfie Justice was an ex-Navy SEAL. Great guy. He's 6'2", muscular. He had these Oakley glasses on. He was a personal trainer. He was a boxer, a security guy at different clubs. How'd you meet Alfie? How'd you know
I
Alfie?
met him through South Beach, through
South Beach area.
through the security industry and stuff.
He worked in it too.
Yeah, because Michael Nunn he's unfortunately also passed away.
Okay.
But he was, they all trained with the same people.
Okay.
At Rudy Esther was amazing. I mean, again, the bouncers over there were just animals. You know, but they didn't have to hit you, and they wouldn't hit you because that's a liability.
Sure.
But no, he was part of the whole scene. I've known him I love the guy. He's
Guy.
Yeah.
He talked about you, Bobby, with such awe and love for you, and never a negative word. His ex-wife Marcia, who they got divorced, but she loved you. She probably don't watch it. Shout out to Marcia. Shout out to Alfie Justice.
of course.
What a child. They had a friend named Jerry who loved your club. He's come all the time. I mean, all these people, man. It was It was a magical time. I'm gonna give a shout out to my friend, my best friend Omar. He used to come to your club, and he was from Brooklyn. He used to come just to see me and go to Shadow Lounge. And he was just like, he was a skinny guy back then, and I don't want to make fun of him, but he's like, these amazing girls all over the place. I go, dude, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, when I say beautiful, I mean this is before. I know plastic surgery has always been there, but now I think women are just needing too much.
I would agree.
You know what I mean?
No, there were natural beauties.
It was natural beauty
Yeah,
back in that time.
Absolutely agree.
You had like Daisy Fuentes, from MTV, Nikki Taylor, Cindy Crawford.
Yeah, I did an interview with Daisy Fuentes.
They were different.
Yeah. I did an interview with Daisy Fuentes and Cuba Gooding Jr.
Oh, wow.
Well, before when started the spot.
Okay.
When they were on MTV or something like that. So yeah, it changed so much, but it was very casual. People didn't have to worry about paparazzi.
Sure.
Or social media.
It wasn't there.
And there wasn't AIDS at that point.
Sure.
That's a big deterrent. I mean, everything was just it was like a blissful time. It really was. It was magic. Without question. I couldn't imagine having a better time.
No.
It was brilliant.
And you were the pioneer of that, man. Like, you're going to go down in the books, man, Bobby Brandt. I'm telling you.
Well,
God bless you, man. Like, you were the pioneer, and they talk about Grumman and talk about these people, and I get it.
Well, they were kids. I mean, they were young.
By the way,
they're pioneers now, and they have all the respect they should.
Shout out to David Grumman.
Yeah,
he's one of my mentors. I look up to him.
Yeah.
But not to be funny, they were kids when you were running the show.
Well, but they've learned a lot.
They learned a lot.
And they've taught me a lot. So I would agree with that.
Like that.
Yeah, it's true.
You learn from youngers too.
Absolutely.
You can learn from a student.
And you can learn from now. He's a teacher. So he's done. You can't
knock him.
about him.
Can't knock him.
Can't say enough good things about him.
Grumman.
And God bless.
God bless him.
Honestly.
You believe in the law of attraction? Yes. Where you think about something, you visualize something, you can manifest it.
Absolutely.
Energy, good energy. Shadow Lounge was known for good. I don't want to talk crap, but Crowbar across the street, good club. I had a great time. But you walked in there and the energy at Crowbar wasn't as positive. It was, again, beautiful girls and music, but everyone had beautiful girls in music. Yeah. But the energy was not the same. And I'm not just saying that you're in front of me, but it was not the same as Shadow Lounge, right? Energy is real, positive, negative. Talk to me about like law of attraction for you. When you're younger, do you sit back and think, you know what? I'm going to visualize a club where I'm a Hollywood people, NFL people, boxers, actors going to come party. You ever thought about this?
I did, but I also thought about, bringing the group of people that I hung out with were energy. And also people that, let's say when you would come, right, and I saw your energy, I'd take that energy and you'd bring other people.
Yes.
With the same energy.
Sure.
So I think spreading it.
It's transferable.
I made everybody that walked in my club a promoter for me.
You're right.
So that's
I never thought about that.
That's where the energy comes from.
You have people working for you without them knowing.
Working for you and without knowing it and acceptingly and absolutely excited to do it. And that's a little bit of energy you give to every person when they walk out and they come back and they bring it back and they good. And if it's good energy, it just multiplies. Yeah, so I think that's a lot of the secrets to anything. Anybody you meet, you might as well give them good energy.
So
manifests.
Business advice for me. I'm 41. I have a real estate business I'm working on. I have a podcast. I'm working super hard to make this huge, and I'm opening a med spa. I have a plan to do much more for young entrepreneurs sitting across Bobby Brandt, the top G. What would you? That's one of the advice you tell people: positive energy, work from sincere heart.
Yeah, and honesty, without question. Don't ever lose your integrity, and you have to maintain it through everything because it'll always come back and bite you.
Interesting.
My grandfather, they wrote an article, A Lawyer of Indomitable Integrity, which was, as I said, written by Hugo Black Jr. And again, his father was a Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States of America, a pretty powerful position, to say the least. But I would never forgot that when I was a kid. I lost my grandfather when I was young, but that stuck with me always. Wow. And I think that's very important. Treat others like you want to be treated yourself. I mean, very basic things. I don't think there's much to it. I think people overthink it. It's very basic. It's logical. What's logical? What do people want?
Yeah.
What's missing?
Sure.
What can you fill for them that they don't have in their life? When different clubs. Okay, there's no rock and roll club. Let's open that rock and roll club. The same pieces fit everywhere.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do, what you're looking at, there's a market for it, and it's the people that'll be attracted to you because you've created it. So go with what you really feel, and trust your instinct. Trust that you're going to make the right decision, and don't let anybody tell you what you're supposed to do unless it's somebody that's a mentor or advisor.
Sure.
But trust your gut, but know the business sense of everything. Know what business you're getting into. Have
Crucial.
no numbers, of course, and no fixed. What's it going to cost you if you don't do well. Whenever you open a club, most people take so long to open it that they run out of money before they open it, and they think it's going to be good in a month or two, and they're out of business, and landlord takes all their equipment. So you have to balance it out, where you have a clear plan of where you're going to be in this year, 2 years, 5 years. You have to think about that whole realm. So don't think about the present. Think about where you're going to be in the future. Manifest it. Where am I going?
Wow. That's some good nuggets there from my people to, work from the heart, work from the right way. Don't take shortcuts. Listen to your mentor if you have one. Interesting. Bobby, what a way. Bobby, I had a friend, a very good friend, also my mentor, who opened a place called Off the Hookah here in Miami and Fort Lauderdale. EHAB.
Yeah, I've been there, I think.
Okay. Yeah, he talks about you very well too. Good friend of mine. He closed it down. He opened 3 or 4 of them, and we're in Fort Lauderdale. And when the hookah thing, he made it popular though.
Yeah, they're very popular.
Yeah, very
He did
popular.
a great job.
Did a
Yeah,
good job with that. He's a good guy.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, EHAB's good. Shout out to EHAB,
Yeah,
good friend of mine. Bobby, as an entrepreneur, I know you're now taking care of family, and God bless you for that. But as an entrepreneur, when you were up and running active, did you have daily habits and routines? My last question, we'll wrap it up. Did you have daily habits, routines that you had every day too? You can say, hey, anyone listening to this, write this down.
I mean, the hardest part of the club business is day and night.
Yes, you're working all the time.
So you have to deal with the liquor companies. You have to deal with, first of all, the government agencies.
Sure.
You have the alcohol, tobacco.
Sure.
You have ATF, ABC, FBI, because
Sure.
It's the number one law business in the country. So just dot your I's and cross your T's.
That's it.
And
organize.
and understand that you have to. For me, is a double faceted.
Sure.
The better liquor deals I got, the better negotiating I did with them, the more promotions I did,
Sure.
the more celebrities you bring in. So pad your world with things that'll keep it interesting.
Sure.
And everybody gets bored. So if you keep interesting, and to me, I was looking for something new within the same realm. Something that new DJ,
Sure.
new music. Like I said, when David Bowie played his longest concert ever at the Fort Lauderdale Chili Pepper, like almost 4 hours, and it's in the records, as longest thing he ever played. Had to be the right energy. There's 1,300 people, and David Bowie performed there, like incredible. To me, that just shows you put the right energy together. Everybody feels it, even somebody like David Bowie.
They feel it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'm going to give a little story before I get going. I had a stroke. That's where the name comes from, stroke of success. I had a stroke 5 years ago in South Florida, 35 years old. I had a baby running around, one on the way. My wife was pregnant. Christmas morning, and I had a stroke. I was in a coma for 1 whole week. I wake up New Year's Day. They're like, oh, you have a ventilator? I'm at a ventilator. I couldn't move my hand. I couldn't walk or talk. I had to go to rehab and learn. And I went back to my job. And my job let me go. I was the director of marketing for a tech company. They said, the KB has been a long time. KB, we love you, but we're going to move forward. And I'm back to the whiteboard to do what the next move is going to be. And I always had a journal, and I had people's names, people I looked up to. I have a huge list. One of my uncle, Muhammad, he's my uncle. He's my godfather. He's like on top of that list. Alfie was a big part of that list. Ehab was a big part of that list. But you're on the list. You've always been on that list, and I want to say thank you. I don't know how much it will mean to you or not, if it means anything to you. You have inspired, you have contributed, and indirectly or directly to where I'm at. I'm not going to call myself successful, but I'm walking, I'm talking, I'm hustling, and you have contributed to that in some way.
I'm honored. Thank you.
Seriously, Bobby.
I'm honored, honestly.
And
I'm proud of you, young man.
Thank you, Bobby. It means a lot when you say that to me.
I'm really sincere about that.
Wow.
I'm glad to see you again.
Thank you, Bobby. And like you said, I put your called the Bobby method to shake hands, go out there, kiss babies, and say and stop and talk to people and make eye contact and be sincere to talk with them.
Now with social media, nobody does that anymore. I mean, you don't even talk to people on the phone. You text them instead.
Yeah.
I don't like texting.
No.
I don't. And in social media, I've got maybe as many as I can on Facebook. I never go on it.
Yeah.
It's really,
You're not active on
I
social
think
media.
they're pushing us away from being together. So I think it's very important to be together.
Sure.
I think like with, we're talking about everything, even politically. I
Sure.
think we need a middle party.
Sure.
We need a left or
I agree
right.
with you.
We
I
need
agree
something down the middle.
In the middle.
Same thing with people. We need people to be people again and not, people are pushed away from each other because they're making it, just insensitive.
Sure.
So I think it's important that people do what you're doing and we continue to go against what they're trying to push us
I
away
agree with
from.
you. Push
I
back.
think middle and everybody gets together. That's the middle.
You're
not
right.
going to get together with somebody if you don't look them in the eye. When you toast somebody, you always look people in the
You're
eye.
100% right.
And I think that's all very important stuff. I think that's what we're forgetting.
Yeah, that's amazing. Awesome stuff. Guys, that's from Bobby Brandt. He's not on social media. He's on Facebook. You can find him on Facebook. My team was looking for his pictures online to do my thumbnails. I've been asking for that. But Bobby, it's been magical. I met Bobby here in 1999. It's 2003. It's been over 20 years when I know the gentleman. And Bobby, I love you, man.
Love you too.
Thank you for doing this for me. Thank you, Bobby.
Pleasure.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.